Hello everyone, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts, and this is Prehistoric Facts special episode number 189. We're going to be talking about a prehistoric bird today, and that prehistoric bird is Titanis walleri. And so here's an artist's rendition of what Titanis walleri possibly look like. And so yeah, this is a very beautiful rendition of what Titanis possibly look like. So some information about Titanis walleri. Titanis walleri, the name means Waller's Titan or terror bird. Its height is 6.2 to 8.2 feet. That's an approximate of the large size, or 1.9 to 2.5 meters. Weight is 330 pounds. Lived 5 to 1.8 million years ago from the Pliocene to the Pleistocene epoch. So lived a pretty good while in that kind of time frame. And it was found, and fossils are found in Florida and Texas in the United States, and was described by Broadcorb in 1963. And so yeah, that's it's been around for this fossil's been around for a little while. So here on the map of the United States, I'm gonna show you where the states are for many of you that are not from the United States. So there's Florida, and right over here is this large state right here in the middle of the southern part of the United States, and that is Texas. So those are the states of where the fossils are found. And so yeah, so you got Florida, which is the southeastern state of the United States, and then you got the second largest state in the United States, and which is Texas, right here in the middle of the southern bit of the United States. And here's a size chart, and also how many, based on the holotype of what kind of fossils have been found. So the size of Titanis, it is a pretty large bird, and so all the fossils that have been found of Titanis amongst the holotype is parts of the skull and a bit of a toe bone, and of course part of the shin, or part of the, or well, part of the foot, mainly part of the foot. So you got part of the skull and of course part of the foot right here. So not a lot of Titanis was actually found for the holotype, and the holotype specimen was discovered in a river, believe it or not, in Florida, and it was all mixed in with fossils that are found from the later parts of the Pleistocene, so like around 15,000 years ago, which I'll get to that bit in a little bit later in the more information in the next slide. But yeah, this is the holotype based on the holotype specimen of Titanis walleri. More information about Titanis walleri. It's part of the Forest Rockidae family, so it's part of the group that is also known as terror birds. And so it's related to Forest Rockus, those types of birds, and some differences between it from so differences from Titanis to from other types of terror birds is that Titanis has a thicker neck compared to other terror birds, and a little broader neck too. So that means that this terror bird has a much stronger neck, has larger neck muscles than other terror birds, and the neck is a bit shorter too. So that means is that it's more likely going to be a more robust terror bird compared to others. And it's got a strong beak, so a very strong skull, and the beak is a little bit hollow in the inside too, so that way it can make those like clacking sounds that like most birds of prey do. If you actually hear a bird clacking its beak, it is kind of an eerie sound, but you actually get the idea of that there is bird, a bird of prey nearby. And Titanus, like all terror birds, used its beak like a hatchet or hammer. So it uses the sharp end of that beak. There is a sharp hook-like bit on the at the end of the beak, excuse me, uh, to actually use as like a hatchet or hammer. So it uses it uh, to like break bones and even cause some nasty wounds on its prey. Titanus has small wings like all terror birds. It has very small wings, so it's not a flight bird. So this bird does not fly. This is a more grounded bird. So a ground bird. So like ostriches, emus, cassowaries, those types of birds. They're ground birds. They don't fly. And Titanus would actually have a speed between would have speeds between 30 to 40 miles per hour. So that is actually really, really close to ostrich speed. So this is a bird that can run really, really fast. And of course, like all terror birds, it's a carnivore. Titanus is a carnivore. The environment and where Titanus lived in, the areas what they're in the environment it lived in would have been warm and somewhat dry. So there would have been periods of rain around that time, and there would have been prairies and forests around too. So you actually have like grasslands and some forests that Titanus would actually live in. There would have been rivers, lakes, and ponds in the areas as well. And other types of animals would have been around, like insects, amphibians, reptiles, other types of birds, and even mammals. And this was during the time when mammals were really, really had really taken over the planet as the dominant dominant life forms on the planet. Predators and prey. So let's talk about the predators and prey of Titanus. Prey. Titanus would actually more likely be going after small mammals. So like mammals that were probably about the size of, say, maybe say large rodents, um, like kind of like rodents that'll be the size of a capybara, sort of speak. And would have been also would have actually go after juvenile horses and juvenile camels, because there would have been pretty good prey sources for it too. Now the predators, uh, like all types of predators, it had competition, and so Titanus had competition from wolves and saber-toothed cats, and so those were actually the competition that um, Titanus would actually face. But wolves would be able to eat the eggs of Titanus, and even the chicks, and even the saber-toothed cats would also eat the chicks as well. And yeah, so Titanus would actually have a lot of competition. The extinction of Titanus was mostly due to climate change. It got cooler and drier, so the glaciers were starting to grow at that point in time around 2 million years ago. And of course, it got outcompeted by the predatory mammals. That is that is the biggest part right here of why Titanus walleri got extinct, is that it got outcompeted by other predatory mammals. So the wolves, the cats, and even some of the bears that were around too outcompeted Titanus. And so more likely is that the wolves and the cats were more social, they were more intelligent animals at that point in time, and so they were more abundant too. And of course, the prey disappeared too for Titanus. Now, I was going to mention about why the Titanus fossils uh, that were discovered were actually mixed in with the fossils that were from 15,000 years ago. Is that the river actually exposed those fossils of Titanus that were further down the river, and then those fossils got swept into with fossils that were dated 15,000 years ago, and that's why certain paleontologists at the time thought, oh, maybe Titanus did live towards 15,000 years ago when certain humans were actually around. But really, when they took a good close look at the chemical components of the fossils, so where do the fossils come from? And those fossils came from rocks that were from between 5 and 2 million years ago, and so those fossils got carried over by the river to that area where there's fossils from 15,000 years ago, where they found ground sloths, saber-toothed cats, dire wolves, and some horses, camels, those sorts of things in that part of Florida and that river. And so, yeah, and believe it or not, the reason why Titanus was actually in North America is because its ancestors crossed that land bridge, which is Panama, the Isthmus of Panama, to North America, and so that created that cross path paths for these animals from North America and South America to kind of migrate north and south. So the North American animals would migrate towards South America, and the South American animals would migrate towards North America. And so yeah, that's how Titanic. So that's how a terror bird it came to North America. Is that terror birds were originally from South America and they migrated towards North America, but they didn't last very long in North America, and that's why the extinction part here is, which I mentioned before. And so here's a map of what the Pleistocene possibly looked like. Uh, I believe this is taken from this is a map of possibly it's a around 25,000 years ago. The glaciers would not be this far down. Uh, at that point in time, around 1.8 million years ago. The glaciers would have been a little bit more further north in, like, say, parts of Canada. And so, yeah, and that's where you get to see the cooler, drier climate happening too. Is that the glaciers were starting to come down towards other parts of North America, mainly northern parts of North America. And so, yeah, that's where Titanus could not survive those types of conditions. So the next episode on May 26, 2020, and that will be an extra episode, and this will be my prehistoric animal skeleton or fossils that I have not seen yet list. And so this is like a list of like prehistoric animals that I would love to see in terms of a museum specimen. And so yeah, and that would be the extra episode for next week. And you can still send me questions about dinosaurs or northern prehistoric life by emailing me at dinochrist71@gmail.com, or just go to my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you post your questions in the comment section. Please put them in the comment section. Don't put them on Messenger. Messengers for private conversations. And also for YouTubers out there, like the videos, and also subscribe to the channel, and yeah, and also share the videos, share the channel to anybody that is interested in dinosaurs and other prehistoric life. And according to my analytics, a lot of you that are checking out my channel are not subscribed yet. So please feel free to hit the subscribe button and also stomp on that bell, so that way you can get weekly notifications of your video that comes out. And so, yeah, make sure you stomp on that bell and also like the video so that way it helps the YouTube algorithm. And also for YouTubers out there, feel free to put your questions in the comment section because I do read them all. I do read your questions, and those questions mean a lot on those Q&A episodes, and I appreciate that. And make sure you keep your questions short to the point. You can also follow me on Instagram at dino.chris.pf. I post pretty cool stuff on there. You can also follow me on Twitter at CSGRAL. It's my Twitter page. I post pretty cool stuff on there as well. Also, take care of the people around you, and also if you're younger people out there that make solutions, and parents and teachers and the guardians, it's the best motivation you can have a good education. It's very important to have good education. With a good education, you get a good job in the future. And also, in this kind of time, please wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands if you're not vaccinated yet. And if you're not vaccinated yet, please get vaccinated, because that's very important. So that way we can get back to the normal that we had before the virus actually happened. And a little note here: in June, there will be 2 extra episodes that will be coming out, and they will be coming out in the same week in June. It will be around mid to late June, and those will be reviews on a Prehistoric Planet on Apple TV Plus and the Jurassic World Dominion review. So I'll be seeing both of these this coming month. So stay tuned for that. I'll give my opinions on these media outlets right here. So I'll check out the Prehistoric Planet thing first, and then I'll go see Jurassic World Dominion when I get that chance in June. And so stay tuned for those when that actually happens. And that's it for now, and I'll see you guys next time.